Hey, welcome back to another video. I'm Ivan Calderon, and today we're making a beat using only the Atom SQ. Okay, so last video that I posted, I showed you guys how nowadays I am only using the Atom SQ and my macro toolbar for Studio One as the only two things to make beats. I also promised you guys an in-depth review of the Atom, and I promise you that's still coming. There's just a lot of things. This thing is feature-packed, so I wanna make sure I have all of them down. So look out for that probably like next week. In the meantime though, I thought it'd be fun to do a video of me making a beat using only the Atom SQ, and that way, not only do you get a virtual hands-on experience as to what this thing can do, but also it lets me practice a little bit more with the Atom because like I said, this thing is feature-packed. But okay, without further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, so jumping into Studio One, I think today I'm gonna make something a little bit slower, maybe like R&B, who knows. The first thing I gotta do though is set the tempo, so let's go over here to song and set the tempo from, it's at 120, let's set it over to 82. From here I gotta set my loop, so I want it to be 4 measures, so I'm gonna hit the shift key, and I believe it is the 7th knob here to extend the out, so right there, and then shift plus play to activate the loop. Last but not least, I have to pick a key because this thing has a nifty little feature that pretty much locks into a scale, a key, and it doesn't let you play any wrong notes. So let's go ahead and do that. Now to do that, I'm gonna head over to the instrument mode and let's head over to a couple pages, this one here. Layout keyboard, no. We wanna click on that and head over to scale only. Scale, let's do major. And then for the actual scale, let's do like A flat, which is the equivalent of G sharp. So boom, there it is. Perfect. Okay, from here I have to load in my instrument. So let's head over back to, I believe it is in the same one. Yes, head over one page, open the instruments browser, and let's go to Arturia. They have a lot of good stuff here. Let me go over to one of my favorite plugins, which is the DX7. So from here, load selected. And boom, there it is. Now I'm looking for some keys, some like very dreamy, kind of like very, just very soft, subtle keys. So let's see what we can find here. Maybe. No. Ooh, maybe. No. Okay, I know that I said soft keys, but I really like the texture of this and I think I can mold it into what I want. All right, so what I think I wanna do first is record some chords, that way I have some material and then I can go back and kind of sculpt and mold. So let's see, let's come up with a chord progression. Okay, so like a jazzy chord progression, maybe like a, from here, I'm gonna cheat a little. I'm gonna use one of my macros just because I know this works every time. I'm gonna set the velocity to 50. Ooh. Okay, from here, let's go ahead and start sculpting. So the first thing I wanna do is probably bring in like an EQ, just to kind of make it more underwatery. From there, let's bring in a room reverb. So my choice is always Valhalla. Let's bring that down to 50-ish, something along there. From there, let's go ahead and add a little bit of stereo widening. Micro shift is my go-to. Perfect, and last but not least, you know we have to add that sauce. What producer doesn't know about RC20? So let me mess with this and see what I can get. Okay, so this is what I have after adding a couple effects. So we have some EQ to cut off everything above 1K. We have some room reverb. We have a little micro shift to kind of widen it up. And then some RC20 just to kind of give it a little bit more sauce. All right, from here, what I want to do is I probably want to bring in another instance of the DX7 because I did see another patch that I really liked that I think would beef this up. So let's go ahead and do that. So again, from here, we go to Instrument, head over to Instrument Browser, and then load another instance of DX7. Now for this, if I remember correctly, I think it was under keys again. It was this one. Perfect. Now to duplicate it, all I have to do is hit the Shift key, hit the B button to select all, and then the D button to duplicate, and then I just bring this down to the bottom. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of sound designing on that second sound. Now for this other sound, all that I did really was just cut off some of the highs, probably around the same frequency that I did the first sound, and we're just gonna lower the volume a bit, but this is what we get. Combine that with the first. Okay, now that I have my basic kind of melodic structure, let's head down to the drums and record some of those. Now, I already have some drums pre-selected, I always do. This is what I keep in my template. The cool thing about MIDI though is that if I ever decide to change them, I can always just drag and drop that sample file into Impact and that'll be good to go. But for now, let's go ahead and record some of these. Now before I do that though, I do wanna make sure that I have my input quantize enabled. That way, whenever I play my notes in, they're already on the grid. So I'm gonna head over to Song, already there. Then we're gonna go, oh, here it is, input quantize, make sure that's on. Then we go back to our drums, and here we go. Perfect, let's go over to the hi-hat now. Now I do wanna use the repeater function here, so what I'm gonna do is Instrument. There we go. It's in one of these pages. I wish these pages were numbered, but whatever. Note repeat. I'm gonna turn that on, then set my strip wheel from mod wheel to repeater, so that way I can do this. Perfect. Let's go ahead and record that. Finally, let's get a kick in here, so let me turn off the repeater. Then we're back to normal, and let's record that. Okay, so from here, I think what I'm gonna do is something I always do on these kind of beats. I'm gonna layer another hi-hat on top of that, a more live sounding hat to kind of create that like bounce, maybe bring in like a shaker. Percussion is super important if you want to create texture and bounce. So let's do that. Okay, so this is what I added. Basically I came in and I added this little open hat. Now for that open hat, I did add some of that room reverb. So just very subtle. I kind of just took it over from another track. And then what I also did is I brought in a shaker. Now that shaker alone sounds like this. It's very, very low. But it's more there for texture than anything, just to kind of keep that groove going. And then last but not least, I did bring in another close hat, which sounds like that. And that one has the alternating velocity just to kind of have that chug in motion. So the drums sound like this. Bring in everything else. Perfect. I think we're only really missing two things. We're missing a bass, and we're missing some sort of like, just kind of shimmery, like bell top line. I don't know about that yet, but I know we do need a bass, so let's go ahead and do that. Now for this, I'm thinking not an 808, not a live bass, but more of like that gritty synth underwater bass kind of vibe. So let's see, maybe I can pull one from Serum, maybe. know about that last note. I might take it away. But let's see, let's go over here to the editor window and go over to quantize. And for the velocity, let's just bring them all the way up. Okay, so at this point I feel pretty good about the beat. What I want to do now is separate my drum tracks because I like to have full control of everything and I want to see everything on my timeline. So to do that, we're gonna head down over to that track, which is the drums here. And then I believe it's editor, explode to tracks. And now we should have all our drums here. So the close hat, the kick, this is the second close hat, the clap, the snap, and the open hat. So let me just rename this and then we can continue. Okay, I think I'm pretty done with this beat. The last thing I wanna do is maybe experiment with some sort of like top line, like a bell or something like that, to add on top of these chords and see if that sounds good. Okay, to do that, let's go back over to the instruments. Let's go back over, do I have anything here already open? DX7, expand, maybe expand. Actually, matter of fact, expand is pretty good for bells. So let's open that up and let's see what we got here. Okay, so I think I'm done. I probably will add more things later on just to make it more lush, but for the sake of this video, I think we're done, and this is what we have. But there you go, that was a beat using only the Atom in Studio 1.5. I used it for the drums, I used it for the chords, I used it for the top line melody, and then of course for navigation. Now, as mentioned, the review, the full depth review will be coming next week, and in there, I'll break down everything, how to use it, what knobs do what. Look out for that, it'll be fun. But that's it for me, thank you so much for watching. If you like this beat, then do me a favor, drop a like and a comment down below as it helps with the YouTube algorithm tremendously, and I definitely appreciate it. But as always, like this video if you like to, subscribe if you're not already, but I'll see you on the next one.